Yo guys, it's me. I know it's been a while since I've made a video. I honestly don't remember when, but I'm 18 now. Shit's good, shit's living, shit's popping. Uh, and I got a little discussion. Okay, so in the past, I realized my videos have been shitty, and I just had a lot of fun making them. All right, so that's not what this talk is about. This talk is about Breath of the Wild. Zelda. Gotta love Zelda. Still rocking it. Um, I know I got this shitty ass camera. I'm only using my new laptop camera, which is at like here's the screen up here. Down here is there you go. Beep beep beep. That's the that's the camera right there. So it's fucking gay. First of all. Anyway, I got a little topic of discussion. All right, so we're going to talk about Breath of the Wild and how I think it's a terrible Zelda game. Now, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, and I understand why. Actually, well, if you're a hardcore Zelda fan, I don't understand why, but if you're not, if you're just getting into the series, like from Breath of the Wild, then I can understand why you'd be upset. Okay, I'm going to start by saying this. Breath of the Wild in the game in itself is a good-ass game. The game by itself is a good-ass game. As a Zelda game, it's absolutely terrible. Probably the worst. Here's why. Okay, so I don't know why I'm on my phone. I keep looking at my phone. Anyway, so fuck. Okay, so discussion, Breath of the Wild, terrible Zelda game. Here's why. So Miyamoto, he wanted to, oh, I gotta get on my critical thinking glasses, Gotta keep them thinking glasses on, let's see. Yeah, fuck that. Okay, we're putting them back away. Alright, so Breath of the Wild, terrible game. Miyamoto wanted to make this game into like revolutionary. And it was very it was very revolutionary. In the sense that he wanted to break all the Zelda convention, like all the conventions that make Zelda Zelda. I understand why developers do this. That makes complete sense. But okay, a lot of people like Zelda for what it is. Like Twilight Princess, great game. Skyward Sword, great game. Ocarina of Time, classic, great game. Majora's Mask, one of my favorites. Just tons of great games. Link to the Past, Wind Waker, so good, so good. Even a Link Between Worlds, I think that was a pretty good game. I mean, I haven't played it since like 2014 or something like that. I might have the year wrong, but I haven't played it in a while, and it's very good. But those games have a method of how the games work, and Zelda fans like Zelda games for what they are. Obviously, things that can change. Graphics. Obviously, those can change. Voice actors, I don't know why people said like they did a very shitty job, because I think at least everybody besides Zelda, they were all very good voice actors. They did that very well. But the things that make a Zelda game, all right, one, I realize that they're very linear, and they have minimal side quests. Maybe add more side quests. Maybe do that for the next upcoming game, because I know they're gonna make another 3D Zelda game. It's not gonna be for a while, but they're gonna make another Breath of the Wild type, using that engine, huge. Really take advantage. Because I was actually watching a YouTube video the other day. Don't remember what the YouTuber's name was. It was just in my recommended. And they basically said that Breath of the Wild is a Wii U game, because if Breath of the Wild can run on a Wii U, that means that it's not living up to the potential of what a Switch can do. So somebody in the development team said that they were going to actually make the next big game actually made for the Switch, not saying that this isn't made for the Switch, but that it's made to bring out the full capacity of what a Switch can do. And like I said before, I love Breath of the Wild. It's a great game, but it's a terrible Zelda game. So the linearity about it, I do like how linear it is. I really think that they did a very good job with like just exploring the world and just like I think that was great. How linear it is not the issue that I have. There's a couple issues that I have. I probably should have wrote this down, but a problem that I have is that how big the world is. They made the map fantastic, made everything great. How big the world is, really, like, there's not a whole lot to do when you think about the grand like scheme of things, like how big Breath of the Wild is. There's like, if you're comparing how big it is to how many side quests there are, it's like 2% of the world. Like 2% of the world has side quests. If you think about games like Skyrim, those games had like even how big it was, you just like turn a corner, you see another side quest. Like that's, I mean, I love Skyrim. I put tons of hours into that. So I think if we're talking about how big the world is and like side quests and that kind of stuff, I really think they should have added more and added like bigger side quests. Because like the biggest side quest that was in the game was about making a town. That was a very fun side quest, and it's my favorite town in the game, aside from the one with like the beach area that like is in Farron, you know, down south. Them dirty South boys. But I don't know. It just wasn't like living up to my expectations. They did a pretty good job with DLC. I haven't finished the Trials one, the first one. It's very hard, even on normal mode. I might just be a pansy for just not continuing. I'm going to eventually beat it and then do it in Master mode. But I've completed the game in Master mode. I've played through the whole DLC, like the second DLC. Honestly, the second DLC made the game so much better. The final boss was what a boss should be. And now that we're on that note, let's talk about bosses. Okay, we'll start out, and dungeons. There are, I mean, there's one, you could say one dungeon. There's, Ganon's Castle or Hyrule Castle. That was, I'd say, the only dungeon. And I really don't like how you can just pretty much walk up to the front door, miss all the guardians, and just start the battle. I don't like that at all. I really think that there should have been some form of like linearity, like a thing that makes a Zelda game, like keys and locked doors, switches. I realize that there's switches in like the Divine Beasts, and like you have to do puzzles with bombs and that kind of stuff. Which if we're talking about puzzles, they did puzzles amazingly. Like they did them fantastic, and the way the physics work, and that like if you have a torch but you're under like a covering and there's rain coming down, the torch won't go out. Like stuff like that. The tiny stuff is really what makes a difference. So I think they did a very good job on that. But I mean, stuff like you go into a dungeon, you like see things that you're like, wait, I can't like interact with those yet. Oh, I must get an item halfway through the dungeon, which most all Zelda games pretty much do. You go through halfway through the dungeon, you fight a mini boss, get the item, and then that will allow you to complete stuff that maybe you saw before in the dungeon that you couldn't do, like a claw shot. Maybe there were places you couldn't get to, but you saw little targets like Skyward Sword. So stuff, well, in the claw shot in Skyward Sword, you get that from the trial, not a dungeon, but you get what I'm saying. I don't know, just it's that kind of stuff which really bothered me about the game. I mean, when I was looking at all the trailers and stuff, I was so excited, and I really felt like I was let down from the game. And even if we're talking about bosses were way below par. Like it was awful. The 4 Divine Beast bosses, they're all the exact same except with a little bit different powers. Although the wind one was very fun, like the speed, you gotta like parry it or just block it in time and then like wham on its shield. That part was really fun. But honestly, like 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 make different bosses, make it monsters. And the fact that I'll get to the story in a minute. I've got a lot to say about the story, but um, even just like the way like none of the divine beasts were any like really any different. I mean, I realized that they had different elements. So like the elephant had the water, so you had to like bring up its trunk, and then the water would flow like on some fire, and then that would like extinguish the fire that was surrounded by like a terminal. Um, and yeah, I really think that was a great idea with them with the divine beast to make it so that you can like move like parts of them, you know, like the lizard like going up on the side of the volcano, the inside of it. That was a good touch, but honestly, they weren't different enough. You got to have things like the inside Great Deku Tree. The whole thing was wood. Whole thing was wood. The theme of it was wood. You know, spiders, webs, like monsters inside of it. Goma at the end, the spider. And then the next one was fuck. I'm trying to think. Ocarina of Time. I know what it was. I can't remember the name of it, but you know what I'm talking about with the Dango and that kind of stuff. Whole thing was like fire, you know, and then fire temple, forest temple, you know, that kind of stuff. It's all themed around like one thing individually, um, and the Divine Beast really didn't do that. They all had the same theme. I don't like that. Gan's Castle was pretty good. It was okay. And then let's talk about the boss with that. You see this like spiritual Calamity Ganon like coming out, like flying around this pig, you know, beast Ganon flying around Hyrule Castle. You never fight that. It just turns out to be like this weird spider of like all the different divine beasts into one. Because I feel because I know he's in like the cocoon, and I think he was like healing up or something like that, and he didn't finish. I feel like someone said that, or that was in the story, but I haven't played the game in a while. And then you get to Dark Beast Ganon, which is a joke. It's an actual joke. Or yeah, I think it's called Dark Beast Ganon. And then he gives up reincarnation, which pretty much shits on the whole rest of the series. So then what's going to happen after this? Because I realized that Breath of the Wild is way after, like at least 10,000 years ahead of like other games, like in the future. Because they talk about 10,000 years ago, we were digging up for like the Sheikah were digging up for remains of divine beasts, stuff like that. And I don't know, it's just stuff like that bothers me. And Dark Beast Ganon was target practice, which I don't understand. Okay, moving on to the story. Story was absolute shit. I feel like they spent way too much time building the world and like the physics, how open it was. No problems with that stuff. I do have a problem when you spend way too much time doing that and nothing on the story. The story was absolute shit. It was so bad. It was so bad. What little pieces you had of the story you saw through memories. I really didn't like how, like, I thought when the game ended, you might have to like play the game in like rebuilding Hyrule, or even before the game came out. I thought like it would be like Ocarina of Time. You had to go back and forth, you know, from going from the past to the future, you know, where like Hyrule's in ruin. I really think that would have made the game a little bit better. It would have been like very game changing. So I don't know how like some people would feel about that, but it really would have been. I think it would have been a good idea, because seeing Hyrule in complete like ruin the whole time, kind of like, I didn't really like it that much, because I every time I go to castle like courtyard, you know, castle town, I always look at it and I'm like, I really want to see what this would have looked like if it wasn't in ruin, because it looks like it would have been amazing. And even in the cutscenes of the game, show it being like looking amazing. It would have been so good to just walk around there, seeing like life just everywhere. I don't know. It felt like just kind of it was bad. Going back with the story was shit. Um, I don't like how unconnected you feel with Link to the other people. Maybe it might be because of the voice actors, you feel so unconnected, whereas like other games, I don't know, like it really didn't feel like he had a connection. Maybe like I saw connections with the champions, but not with Zelda, because like the whole time he's just this silent warrior who's just always protecting Zelda, and he really doesn't like do anything. Like he has no emotion except I must protect Zelda. I must protect Zelda. Like I don't know. I'd have to compare with other games to be honest to see like how the comparison is. But again, I really don't feel like there was a connection there. And you like know nothing about the characters beforehand. Like Ganon, like how did he get to be like that? In Twilight Princess, they did a fantastic job telling you how he was chained up after the war, the Civil War, the Hyrulean Civil War. I think if I'm getting the timeline right, I don't know. Like the wars that happen in between games are very hard for me to understand. So I know that he's chained up. I know it was after Ocarina of Time, obviously, but because it was in the child timeline when Link went to Termina, and then he went back to be a soldier, and that's why in Twilight Princess you see the Hero Shade. I think that's what it's called. I might be getting that name wrong. Might be confusing it with something else. But like that timeline, and then he's all chained up, and then he kills one of the sages, takes the sword out, and then goes back to the Twilight Realm. That whole scene was so good. The fact that I knew what happened beforehand is so good. I know nothing about why Ganon is there, why he looks like the way he is, why he's like a storm, and like it's just nuts. I don't know. There's a lot of problems I have with the game. But again, like I said, a game on its own, not thinking that it's a Zelda game. It's a very good game. I put many hours into it. I think I've played the game like about 5 times, just because I like revisiting it, going back, exploring that kind of stuff. And me being a hardcore Zelda fan, I remember when my friends, when it came out, he got it like a month before I did. I got it like April 28th. I think that was the exact day, 2017. That's when my Switch came because I got the game way early, earlier than I got the Switch. And then the Switch came, and I was calling my sister. I was like, "Hey, did the package come? Did the package come? You got to bring it inside because I'm afraid that if they bring it in to the door, you're gonna have to sign it and like do all this other stuff. And like if you're not there, because she had to go to work, if you're not there, then I'm afraid that they're gonna just take it back to the post office, and I'm gonna have to go get it, which I didn't have a license at the time, so I was kind of worried, like because then I have to work around my parents' schedule to see if I can get a ride there, because I wasn't working, so I can't really get Uber. So I was really excited. As soon as I got the game, I'm going off on a tangent. As soon as I played the game, I kind of played it side by side with my friend, and he said that like I got through more of the story than he did, and he's had the game for half a month longer than I had, and I played the game for 2 days. 2 fucking days. And he's like, why aren't you exploring? Why aren't you doing all this stuff? I'm like, I'm thinking of this as a Zelda game, so I'm just going through the story. I realized that you got to explore, and I was doing that. I was doing quests along the way, but I think I was just progressing a lot more than he was. And he's like, why are you doing this? I'm like I'm not dumb. I realize that you got to explore, but I just keep gravitating towards the story because I want to know more. I want to know what's going on, that kind of stuff. And I beat the game way earlier than he did because he did a lot of like the shrines and towers a lot earlier than I did. Of course, like if there was like the main quest led me through like to like say the quest would start going to the Zora domain, which that place is fucking amazing. That's probably my favorite area. Zora's domain and the desert. I think it goes like in my list of like areas that I love. It's Zora's Domain, Desert, Goron City, or the volcano, Death Mountain, and then Rito Village. Rito Village was like absolute shit. It was so bad. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's why I kind of think that uh, Breath of the Wild is a shit Zelda game, but it's a good game on its own. That's And I expect to get some hate towards that. That's fine. I understand. I understand what you guys are saying, stuff like that. But I think this was just a fun talk. Great coming back to YouTube. I don't know if I'm gonna make this a regular thing. I might just like talk, maybe play some games, I just recently bought a PS4 only for Spider-Man because I have an Xbox One right now. Actually, you know what? Let me show you guys my setup. So over there, you see the Xbox One Slim, right there, the white thing, and then below that is the PS4 that I got, and then over here you got the Switch dock, the Wii, and then I have a PS3 on the floor. So I got shit set up. Okay, so when I just wanted to talk with you guys about this kind of stuff. I just started college. This is my first year. Already kind of regretting it because it's hard going to classes. It feels like summer hasn't ended because I commute to like a community college. So, and I was used to going on the bus. I know I shouldn't be talking about this on like a Zelda talk, but I'll explain really quick. So I'm used to going on the bus to school because I didn't have a car. I didn't have a license through high school, except senior year when it came to April, I got a license, and then that's how I took my date to prom. But I didn't get my car until like August. So I'm not used to driving to school. So obviously, like the first time I get a car and I start driving it on my own, my mindset is, oh, it's summer. I can do whatever the fuck I want. As I started working, because I started working in the summer. But then me going to college and then like going to a class that's 8 to 10 and then coming home and doing whatever the fuck I want, making beats. Oh, and if you want to check out my SoundCloud, I'll put it in the description, top of the description. But yeah, I just come home. And then obviously I'm not just taking one class. Like on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have 3 classes back to back from 8 to 12:30. But still, it feels like summer. It feels like I'm just going to this like thing that I don't want to go to, and it feels like summer. So I'm less inclined to go to classes. And like I've been sleeping through classes sometimes. One time I was actually sick, but sometimes I just don't feel like going in. Like I'll wake up and then just go right back to sleep when I know I could very well just get up and start my day. But I'll just go back to sleep. One more thing. My friend John, over at JJ's Vlogs, I'll put his link below my SoundCloud because SoundCloud comes first. He just put out a new video of fucking a party that I had at my house. So check that out. It's fucking insane. But yeah, I hope you guys had a great day. That was my discussion on why I don't like Breath of the Wild as a Zelda game. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll probably see you guys soon. All right, we're kicking this back up, okay? All right, see you.